Hello everyone, so welcome back to another episode of Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise. This is number 23, A Moment of Choice, and this one is different, it's more downtime again. Now I've said before that I like the downtime between large battles because it makes it feel a little bit more real compared to what happened with normal build divers where it seemed to be almost constant fighting and no sort of showing about gathering thoughts after a battle or planning out anything. So this continues the whole series mainstead of trying to think things out and come up with new plans, and also giving you a little bit of downtime because you can't get any better than episode 22 at the moment. So of course we've got to have some downtime and some narrative building again. So in this episode, we get to see more of Misaki out of hospital, or at least trying to force himself out of hospital, trying to say thank you to the Build Divers team for saving his life. We get to see his sister come and pick him up after he rides over to them on his bike to more or less scold him and tell them, look, we don't want any part of this anymore, because he's already been through enough. And over the course of the episode, you get to see her really sort of worry about her brother because of all that he's been through and the fact that she now knows the truth because of Maggie and May letting her know what was going on. So there's at least one more person that knows about Eldora. And then the group try and figure out a way to combat Alice because at this point they know they're going to have to go up to the satellite again. It's like I said in one of the speculation videos ages ago, we knew that at some point they were going to have to fight the Seltsam and also go back to the space satellite. So the space satellite will be the final battleground, and as a result everybody wants to prepare and kind of get an idea of what they're going to need to do, because at this point they're all worrying that the satellite will not be as easily to access via the space elevator anymore, primarily because the first time they were going up to the satellite, or the moon, the first time they were going up there, it all seemed too easy, and even, I think it was either Hiroto or May, might have even been, it was one of them, mentioned about how it almost seemed too easy, as if they were being invited up there, and they all fear that this time the ground entrance will be heavily guarded. So as a result they start prepping, and this is when Hiroto comes up with an idea of using the new armor that he's been working on for a while that he's never got quite round to finishing, possibly because he was working on it as Eve ended up dying. That could be an explanation for it, because Eve was his inspiration for everything, so it's possible that part way through building it, when she ended up getting deleted, that he just stopped building it because he didn't have his inspiration there anymore. So Hiroto goes to everybody else and asks them for the help for ideas and helping build this new set of armor, which will help them get into space, as Crowdon more or less states that he can only take one Gunpla into space with him with his abilities, meaning that they're going to need some other way to get past the ground entrance if they want to stand a chance, because it's probably going to be heavily guarded. Knowing this, they start building the new parts. They go to the Gundam base and we get to see May again in a nice little dress, and she does some calligraphy and signs a panel, which they then display in the Gundam base cafe. And that's a neat, cute little scene. I like that. I like seeing May in a normal attire rather than her build diver's L-Diver suit, mainly because we see her a lot in that, and it's nice seeing her in the formal wear. But yeah, we get to see Kazami struggle with small parts, and that brings back a lot of memories to everybody that's built kits beforehand and had that one problematic part that you either can't get to fit right, you either fit it wrong and then have to take it apart again, or you try and build it and the part either falls out of position or just falls out of your hands completely. So Kazami's frustration here I had to laugh at. It was pretty funny. But yeah, in the background we get to see the ex-Valky lander, the plans for it at least. We get to see a new version of the bird guy as well. And we also get to see Hirato's plans for his new mobile suit, the final set of armor, or at least it looks like it. So yeah, there's a lot of downtime in this episode. We also get to see more of Hinata and Misaki's sister just talking out with each other and trying to come to grips with the situation, and with Misaki's sister more or less just being like, I know he wants to go back, but I really don't want him to, it's terrifying. And Hinata has grown to see Hirato more as a hero and slowly growing more open over the course of the series, so she doesn't really mind too much, but it's dwelling on it or dwelling on what could happen, very similar to Misaki's situation, where he gets mind controlled for the entire series. She's worried that might happen to Hirato, so it's throwing off her archery aim, to which point she eventually just gets the courage to eventually just be like, yeah, look, I'll just focus on things because I know he's doing his best for everybody else, so I've got to do my best. So that's a neat little side plot to really break things up and to give you the perspective of how they feel about stuff, because the main group is more or less just charging headfirst into this and not really thinking about the consequences. And it's a nice reminder that there are other people that know the consequences and know how bad things could get, and they're worrying about it for them. So if the main group aren't openly worrying about it, then somebody else is. Especially considering Hirato's not told his parents, obviously, because they probably wouldn't let him go back into GBN or go to Eldora. So then we get the nice twist in this episode, and this is something that I was interested in heavily because they've been referencing the old Build Divers a lot, and I had this feeling since early days that we might see the old Build Divers at some point, or we might get more references to them. They might appear in one way or another, and when we go to Maggie's cafe afterwards to tell Maggie what's going on and to have everybody meet up with him for the first time, this is when we see the repercussions of Maggie's actions in the last episode, of him posting up a link to Kazami's GTube page on Gunstagram, which is obviously a play on Instagram. And Kazami's GTube video, because he's not been keeping an eye on his GTube for a while, mainly because he's been busy with Eldora and building the new Aegis Knight. Because he's been busy with that, he's not been able to check it. So when he checks back and sees that Maggie shared it around everywhere and it's got really popular, primarily because of how large Maggie is in the community, he's like, wait, what? What's happening here? And he gets to see that everybody else in the game, in GBN at least, is treating it as if it's like a new story mode or whatever, kind of like they did when they first encountered all of this. And as a result, they're giving the Build Divers ideas on how they can complete missions, or, how they can do better against this scourge from space. And it's pretty cool to see everybody in the community coming together and trying to help them out. And the best part about this is when Kazami goes, wait a minute, we can more or less pick whoever we want to help train with us, because we're gonna need some practice. And Pa brings this up and says, we're gonna need some practice, but we can't do it versus AI opponents. To which, Maggie says, well, you've got your pick of everybody watching here, just pick somebody and go. So that's when Kazami gets an idea of posting up new images of the new versions of Alice that they faced, to which everybody starts responding and getting together with new ideas. And this is when they look down the list of people that they could fight, or diver groups that they could fight. And of course, Avalon's at the top that Hirato sees. But there is one that I think Maggie picks out that we get to see at the end of the episode. And sure enough, it's the original Build Divers. And the idea is that the level that they're going to be playing is the Lotus Challenge, which was one of the better episodes from the first half of the show. So it's going to be interesting that the new build divers are taking on the Lotus Challenge versus seemingly the old build divers. And Siri going off in the background there. So yeah, it's going to be fun seeing what happens and seeing how they do compared to the old build divers. And we finish off the episode with Misaki getting out of his hospital bed again and going to the roof and really kind of dwelling on his past again, regretting everything that he's done, obviously still, because as we've said before, the show focuses heavily on the regret of people's actions in the past. So he's still up there regretting what he's done and trying to get over it in his own way. And this is as the sun's setting, which kind of implies that he's sort of making a decision and trying to come to terms with everything and trying to decide whether he'll go back into GBN or not and then go to Eldora again to help out. And all his sister can do, really, is look on in sort of terror as she knows that at some point he probably will go back, and she's really, really worried that the same thing will happen again. So yeah, this was a nice episode after 22. You can't top 22 at the moment, but this is a nice episode for downtime, for letting people relax after the previous one, and really building up the scenario for what's going to happen again, setting us up with new ideas for what's to come, and also giving us a little tease of the old build divers. So yeah, what did you guys think? Anyway, I'll see you in the comments down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!